It's Fair Trade Fortnight, as many of you know. It's also International Women's Day. So, and as a lot of the people that I work with are amazing women, I thought I'd just tell you a bit of information about some stories of the women that I work with. I think they're not necessarily women that you would see on the front of Vogue or in celebrity magazines, but nonetheless they're very remarkable women with remarkable stories. So my company is called Just Trade. I started it about 7.5 years ago, and we currently work with 5 different projects, and we work with 4 different types of material. So we work with silver. This is crocheted silver, and I can show you more examples over there later. Crocheted cotton is another material that we work with. This collection is made out of brass, so it's another material. And then finally, as it was just being explained, then the final collection that we work with is made out of tagua, or it's sometimes known as vegetable ivory, which is a seed from the jungle in the Amazon, which is after a couple of years is very hard, and you can carve it in the same way that you would wood or stone. A bit softer than stone, a bit harder than wood. So I thought we'd start off in about 17 years ago. I went to Peru as a volunteer and volunteered with a fair trade project in the shanty towns in Lima, and kept going back as volunteer, and then got introduced to a project who I started working with 8 years ago, and then started Just Trade in order to provide a route to market for this particular project. And today I'd really like to talk to you about Nieves, who is one of the girls from the project who we work with. So this is Nieves, and this is her rabbit Bonnie over here, and these are her chihuahuas. They haven't got names yet because they're going to be adopted by other people, and so she didn't want to get too attached, so she hasn't given them names. So Nieves lives in this area in Peru. It's in the south of Lima, and it's called La Tablada de Ruin, and it's a sprawling development that's been kind of gradually growing and improving over the last sort of 20 years or so. And Nieves' expertise now is that she particularly makes the brass jewellery. What I might do is pass a couple of things round so that you can see them all. Can I get you to pass that round? So Nieves started working with the project. One of the reasons for this project is to provide people with part-time work, so that they can either work at home and look after their children, or if they're studying, they can work part-time so they can pay for their studies. So Nieves, I've worked with Nieves for 8 years and done a variety of training with her and the other girls, and yes, she's become an expert in the brass. So when we first started working with brass, I designed the bangle, and then after some design workshops I said, right, okay, I'm going into town today, got to buy some materials. When I come back, I want you to have designed a necklace and earrings to match. And she was like, I can't do it. It's like, yes, you can. And I went into town, and I came back, and she'd started work on a collection. This is me in the workshop again. So what I've tried to do is work with these guys, the ladies, with Wilma and these guys from a place called Sosote near the coast, to make some products out of tagua. So I was explaining to a few people earlier, I can pass a few things around. This is a seed from the jungle, and this is a slice of it. So it hardens over time. It was actually used an awful lot. It was exported a lot before the invention of plastics and used in the button industry. So a lot of buttons, vintage buttons that you find that they maybe say they're ivory, possibly aren't ivory, but are actually made out of this material. So it's known as vegetable ivory because it looks quite like ivory, and it also ages quite like ivory. It does get darker with age. So it's a fascinating material and got so much potential. And a lot of the products they were making were great, but I didn't really see them having they were quite extravagant and quite kind of carnival-like, and not very suitable for the depressing English weather. So we've developed this range. So the way it works is each seed, you can get them of various sizes. So you find the one that most looks like the elephant, or most looks like the squirrel or the rabbit, and then you carve it and they kind of visualize it. It's absolutely fascinating to see.